Good morning, everybody. How are you on this beautiful morning here on this page called the Trig Podcast of Joy page, which used to be my Finding Grace for Anxiety conference page or my anxiety certified coach page. I am moving away from that only because I'm doing that primarily one-on-one and mostly because I want to move towards podcasting and live streaming and helping you learn how to do some of the things that I love to do that I think you should do. And especially, I want to talk about today why you should consider starting or restarting your podcast. Leave a comment below. How many of you have a podcast and maybe you let it go? Or how many of you have never done a podcast and you would like to? So leave me a comment below. Say yes if you would like to start a podcast, or if you had a podcast and now you want to get it going again. So I'm actually just looking for this particular feed here on my new page because, as I said, it's a brand new page. So there it is. How fun. Okay, there it is. Let me see. I wonder if that audio is working. I think it is. Okay, good. I mean, I know I can hear it, but if it's going through my microphone versus just going through the computer. So yeah, by the way, welcome. This is my Goso hat, as you know, and back there, let me see if you can see it. There is my Goso mug. I'm going to take off my hat just for a second. No, wait a minute. I'm going to put it back. Man, I love my hat. I had this one guy that was all mad at me that because I'm wearing my hat, he's like, that's not professional. I actually asked a friend, a mentor of mine, even though I knew I wasn't going to take it off, but it's always good to get a second opinion, right? So I asked my friend, hey, what do you think of my hat? You watch me all the time. And he said, dude, just do you, right? And that's, I think, the best advice. Just do you. That's my Goso bell, by the way. Every time that we have something funny or just some truth that we drop, we ring the Goso bell. Or anytime that you come on and you write a comment, we give you a Goso bell shout out. So by the way, speaking of Goso, I got my Goso mug here. Mm, 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 mm. Tasting amazing today. This Goso day. Today is what? Friday? Wow. It's Friday. Let me share, speaking of joy, let me share this joy with other pages. So I'm going to just go onto my regular page here and share this live stream with my normal places, my normal pages, my personal profile, all that stuff, so that everyone can be here. Usually it takes, I don't know, they say the statistics are that it takes about 15 minutes, 1-5, for people to join in. Honestly, for me, because I'm so hugely popular, I could be on for an hour or 3 and no one will be here. Can you say I'm okay with that? I've learned a lot about kind of what this whole Facebook game is all about, and even just some of the things that I do and don't do. So anyway, I am wanting to just share this with as many places as possible, just to get as much visibility as possible. And by the way, speaking of that, I wonder if this, okay, I think that's better. Just couldn't really, I think this thing was a little too loud. But what was I saying? That, oh yes, in terms of the Facebook algorithm, just want you to know, you may be familiar with Facebook algorithms or not. The way that Facebook is now showing videos to you is only if people are leaving comments and engaging. So this happened in January, February, just a few months ago. That's why where I used to get 200 views, or let's say 2 people watching me live, now it's 0 and maybe 50 or 60 views after the fact. And those are, some of them are 3-second views. I mean, I know how I watch videos. I just scroll through them and maybe press the button for like a second. So as I said in a previous podcast, I think that at least for me, and maybe most of us empaths and teachers and coaches, I mean, our whole real vibe is one-on-one, is to get deep with one person. And so maybe some of us aren't meant to have a lot of followers online. Maybe it's an introvert extrovert thing. Maybe it's, I used to think they're beautiful people, but there are a lot of regular looking people out there that have a huge following. So I don't think it's about looks alone. It helps. It doesn't hurt if you're beautiful, which I'm not. I know I am. Thank you, Mom. But regardless of how beautiful you are, I think you should start a podcast. So I'm going to wait another few minutes here. As I said, it takes the Facebook algorithm about 15 minutes to get an audience here. So I want to encourage you, if you're here, I think we have one person here. Hello, whoever you may be. I can't really see who it is. Leave me a comment and just say hello so I know who you are. It takes about 15 minutes, according to the statistics, to get an audience here for Facebook, which for me means one person, usually my mom, who can't understand me. And that's why she says, son, speak Spanish. So, So at about minute 15, we're going to talk about why you should start a podcast. Why you should start a podcast, because podcasting is a very, very awesome way to get your message out. So leave me a comment below. Why don't you have a podcast? Or why did you leave it behind? So do you have one? Do you not have one? Do you want one? And most of all, how can you get started, right? So I'm going to walk you through 5 steps on how you can start your own podcast. And I'm going to tell you why you should do it. What's the point? How do you do the technical part of it? What do you say? All the different questions. So leave me a comment below. Leave me a question. What is your question? Is it technical? Is it what to say? Is it how do you put it on iTunes? All of the above, or all of the above. So leave me a comment below. What is your number one question or reason why you don't start a podcast? Okay, so let me know why you don't like to speak in public. Is it because you don't know what to say? And so in just about a few minutes, like I said, at about minute 15 or so, it's been about 7-8 minutes, Facebook, at least from what I've read, that's when most people are here. So we have 3 people here. Hey, leave me a comment below. Tell me who you are. I can't really tell who you are. Hello, soccer. Ophi. Hello, Ophi, dude. You're the most beautiful. Thank you. I know. You know what? Ophi, it is true, huh? I mean, look at us, right? As long as you and I, right, Ophi, and our husbands and wives go nuts and are like, oh my goodness, who cares about everyone else, right? I know. It is quite funny how life kind of tells us what we do or who we are. And look at that, Ophi, you are famous. You are on the Drink Podcast. Enjoy your comments. It's right there on the screen. Let me give you a Goso Bell shout out. I must say that your husband, he is a gorgeous man. Man crush. Can you say man crush 2018? So in about a few minutes, about minute 15 or so, the statistics are that at about minute 15 is when we get most of our audience here on Facebook. And by the way, this is also going to YouTube and to Periscope. You may know what Periscope is. You might not. Basically, it's the Twitter version of live. So you can go to Periscope as well and just search for me, and there I am. But if you're here, hey, you are good to go. So in just a few minutes, about maybe 5 more minutes, I'm going to talk about 5 steps or 5 reasons why you should start a podcast, or maybe why you should go on somebody else's podcast and learn the ropes or just simply create content. A lot of people have all kinds of fears or concerns about what they're going to say. So leave me a comment below. Let me know, what is your number one obstacle? Is it technical? Is it what to say? Is it something else? What is your number one obstacle on why you don't have a podcast or why you don't go on somebody else's podcast? They say that that people's number one fear is public speaking. I guess that's true. Is that true? Is that still a thing? Goes a bell. I mean, after all this stuff that we see online where everybody is their own media channel, do people still fear speaking in public? I guess. I mean, I don't fear it. I don't know. I don't think I'm anything special or different than you. We're all the same. But maybe some people just are scared of it more than others. Do I get scared of speaking in public? No. I think my main concern is that I don't know what the heck I'm saying. So, but that's different than being scared of public speaking, or maybe that's the same thing. So maybe no, for me, as long as I prepare, which I prepare, I think I sometimes over prepare, then I'm good. As long as I know what I'm saying. Now, there was a time, maybe, I think it was a year ago, that I was invited to guest speak at a high school, and there were maybe 100 kids in there, 200 kids, and it was on the art of public speaking. And so I felt very nervous because I had never been to this place, and I don't know, I just wanted to do a good job, and I think I did okay. I would give myself a C. Maybe the director would give me a B. I don't think it was an A. But, here's the thing about communication. You always learn by doing it. It's the only way you will become a better communicator is by doing it. Now, I do think that there are people, like with anything, that are just natural, gifted communicators. I don't think I'm one of them. Everything that I have done as far as communication, I have done the hard way. You know how like there are two kinds of people, right? Those who are natural and those who just work hard. And then there are those that are the geniuses that do both, right? They're natural and they work hard, and they're the LeBron James or the Martin Luther King Juniors of the world as far as speaking or basketball. But I think for me, any quote talent in terms of speaking has come the hard way, just working extremely, extremely hard. I would say I have easily given 10,000 hours, as they say, to the craft of public speaking. Yes, easily, if not more. And that's why I maybe don't feel nervous, because I'm prepared. So, most of all, what is your number one obstacle on why you don't do more public speaking or podcasting or any of those things? What is the number one reason why you don't feel confident or ready to do it? Is it technical stuff? Is it speaking? Is it all of the above? Leave me a comment below. Let me know what that is. So, well, why don't we get started? So let's talk about, let me take this hat off because it's so gorgeous, but hey, there we go. Maybe I should put it back on. My mom would say, put it back on. I need to get a haircut, or maybe just simply comb my hair. How about that? I'm having a little problem with this in-ear thing. So let me just take care of it a little bit here and mess with it some more. Okay, I think that's better. So, okay, I want to give you 5 reasons why you should start your own podcast. Okay, 5 reasons why you should start your own podcast. Number 1 is because it is the most intimate and easier way to get your message across. Easier than video, easier than writing perhaps, easier than speaking in public for sure, easier than maybe meeting with people one-on-one or hosting conferences or writing a book. There is no doubt that in my experience, and I've done all of those things, I've written books, of course, CDs, meaning songs, obviously, I speak in public, whatever. Without a doubt, if you, I would say, are an empath, and that's actually number 2, but just before I get into that, podcasting is the easiest way to get your message across. Now, what I mean by easiest is time. I mean, all of us, right, are concerned about time. All of us have a limited amount of time, and so we can't just sit at a computer for 5 hours trying to do one thing, right? We just can't afford that. Well, I know we're all Facebook and Twitter addicts, but besides that, time for a little Gosa mug. swag. What's that word? Swug, a swig. I don't know. Leave me a comment. What is that word? Delicious. Oh, I love my Gosa mug. By the way, if you want a Gosa mug, simply go to my store, davidtrigg.com / I think it's store or shop, one of those. Go to davidtrigg.com and get your own Gosa mug. They're awesome. I will personally autograph it for you. So it's the easiest way to get your message across. Time. I mean, just let me give you some comparisons. One video, let's say you're going to do a video like one of these things, it's probably 10 times the time and preparation that it takes to do one podcast. So an average podcast for me, and this is not a podcast, obviously this is video. So maybe we should start with what is a podcast. Podcast is audio only. No video, no live stream, no Facebook, none of that. It's audio only. Now, here's the problem that I have found. There's only a certain kind of person that listens to podcasts. My guess is most of you that are watching me or will watch me later don't do podcasts, right? You don't listen to podcasts. So that's something that you need to consider. Do the people that normally are drawn to you, are they even into podcasts? Meaning, will they go on their phones, download the podcast app, blah, 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 and actually listen to you? I mean, just let me ask you, how many of you listen to my podcast? How many of you do you even know how to listen to a podcast? Now, the easiest way to listen to my podcast is simply by going to my website, davidtrigg.com, and it's right there. I mean, you literally can't miss it. It's just right there. It says episode whatever, 245, and you click on this play button, and there you are. So it's pretty easy. But here's the thing. Here's my point. You have to ask yourself, and this is now number 3. I'm jumping ahead. Let me just go step by step. Okay, so number 1 is the easiest way. Number 2, if you are an empath, if you are an introvert, if you're a creative, podcasting is the easiest way to communicate as an empath, as a creative. Let me just say it this way. Video, obviously public speaking, it requires a ton of energy if you're not an extrovert. I'm in the middle. I'm an ambivert. But I would say that the easiest thing for me, and you have to ask yourself what's true of you, is to do a podcast because there is very little friction. You don't have to entertain people as much. You're not in front of anyone. You're not self-aware of your appearance or of your hand motions or, I mean, when I'm here live, you're watching everything about me, right? You're not just listening, right? Imagine if you couldn't see me. It would be a whole different ball game. But because you're seeing me and you're looking at my door, at my cross, at whatever, are there shoes or are my socks on the floor, right? I hope not. Because video is visual, and that's what's so powerful about it, you have to be aware of so many things. And plus your energy. I mean, if I'm just sitting like this, hello, hi, everybody. Even if my content is amazing, you're going to be bored and you're going to check out. You're going to go somewhere else, right? With podcasting, with audio, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. There are some things to worry about, but it's not visual. You don't have to entertain people with your body language because there is no body language. It's just audio. So if you are creative and if you are not naturally comfortable in front of people visually, I would consider a podcast. Number 3, and that's what I was saying earlier, that podcasting is the most intimate way to communicate with people. Think about the very nature of podcasting. Podcasting is audio. Remember, if you're my age, when our parents would listen to the radio, maybe they would wake up in the morning and turn the radio on. Do you do that? I don't think any of us listens to the radio anymore. I personally love the radio. I have a radio in my garage that is on 24/7. I love just the sound of the radio. And it's not a transistor radio. It's just a radio from Target. but it's 10 years old, which these days feels like it's 50 years old. I love radio. I love the sound of radio. I love the commercials, the ins and outs, the pauses. In such a busy world that we live in, to have the radio on, it's almost like white noise. You can tune into it whenever you want to, or you can just do whatever you're doing. You don't have to stare at a phone or stare at someone's face, or you don't have that white light in your eyes at night. I mean, right? Can we say that is so damaging to our eyes and our sleep patterns, right? Most of the time when I quote sleep with my phone in bed, it's just audio. And I love putting my headphones in, which, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes I'll just put my phone next to me and I'll just listen to podcasts, meaning to the radio. And I just love going to sleep listening to audio and not watching a screen or a TV, much less, or a computer. I mean, who does that anymore, right? But watching a screen late at night, it's so damaging to my eyes and to all of our eyes. I mean, obviously, right? We all have experienced that. Consider listening to podcasts, or simply consider, okay, let me get that comment on here. Thank you so much, Ofi. Let's see here. Let me get your comment. Not comfortable. Right. And so that's what I was saying. Podcasting is not video. And so, let me say two things. Being uncomfortable in front of a camera, if it's because of the way we look, if it's because of that, which I know for me, half of the time it's that. Half of the time it's the energy that it takes to engage someone through video. But if it's any of those things, let me just tell you that is easily fixable. Because if it's about appearance, if it's about being beautiful or not, or comparing yourself to somebody else, then I know without a doubt that is fixable. That's fixable by really just, I don't know how to say it, getting over it. It's probably just the quickest answer. It really is about getting over it. Realizing that the way that you look isn't a direct result, or it doesn't lead to less engagement or not. It's not about that. Now, okay, let's be honest. Who's on TV? Beautiful people. Duh, right? Who do you like to watch on TV? Beautiful people. So the way that we are, what's that word? The way we've been trained, or whatever, brainwashed, or the way that we have been, trained, I guess, to think, is to only look at beautiful people on video. Not, they have to be thin, they have to be perfect and 22, right? So if that is the problem, I don't know what it is. And for me, I would say half of the time it's that. The other half of the time, it's just the energy that it takes to be on video, to be entertaining. I mean, don't you just love this more than this? I mean, see the difference? Even if I'm saying the same thing. I mean, isn't this on video more engaging? If I'm like holding this up, aren't you like, oh, wow, I like that video. I like that guy, right? I could be saying the same exact thing than saying it this way. But because video is video, you're not going to stick around if the person isn't engaging, isn't using all these props and holding things up, and here's my Goso bell, and here's my mouse, and I mean, that's what video requires, which is exhausting, again, going back to personality, to some people. Now, I was saying in terms of podcasting that it is the most intimate way to receive content. I was talking to you about at night. I love listening to audio. And so you want to think about that. It's the most intimate way. Number 4, we're talking about 5 reasons why you should start or restart a podcast. Number 4 is because it's very inexpensive. Can you say, I love inexpensive things? Now, because I'm a techie and because I've been podcasting for 20 years, can you believe it? 20 years, I know. I was 8 when I started. It's the most, now I have, quote, nice gear. But when I started, as they say, I didn't have a lot of stuff. And you know what? Let me tell you something. I used to use a lot of fancier gear. You may think this is fancy because you see this microphone, I don't know, whatever. And maybe the video looks nice and you have comments and all these things. But podcasting, it can be very, very effective with very little gear. So, and this won't be a technical stream here. I won't get into all the details. Of course, I can walk you through all the technical stuff. But let me say, as far as a budget, or let me say, what do you need? Well, you can use your phone and something like this. I'll just give you a little bit of maybe a tech training. See this microphone right here? This is, I think, okay, this one is not cheap. This is maybe like $75, I think. It's been a while since I got this. Because audio is very important. Now I'm fixing this thing and I shouldn't just leave it alone. That's a problem with gear. I'm always fixing it. But something like this connects right to your phone and you can just clip it on, right? Amazon, this is called the Rode something or the other. You can just look up Rode, R-O-D-E, like rodent, R-O-D-E, not R-O-A, Rode, R-O-D-E. Go to Amazon. I think it's $75. Maybe it's less. I don't remember. It's been a while. And you can just clip it on and it goes right into your phone. And then on your phone, if you have an iPhone or I don't know, whatever else, go to the voice memo, I think, app on iPhone, and you can do your first podcast. The 90% of a podcast is just recording the audio. Yes, what to say, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a file meaning you record something, assuming that you know what to say, and that's the fifth step. Assuming that you know what to say, let's say you have, I don't know, a verse you want to read, or maybe you wrote a book, or you've written a couple of paragraphs that you really like, and you're just going to read. You're going to just read what you wrote last night or whatever. If you just record that, let's say that's 10 minutes, 5 minutes. There are podcasts that are 3 minutes out there. There are all kinds of podcasts. I listen to some that are an hour and a half. You have to be pretty engaging to do an hour and a half worth of audio. Some are 5 minutes. I have this guy that I love. They're super quick. Some are like 30 seconds. Some are longer. So my point is, it doesn't matter how long you speak for, as long as you have a way to record your audio, your voice, a microphone like this. Now, do you need this microphone? Can you just go direct into your phone? Yes. The quality won't be as good, but you can do it. I would say maybe if you want to just start with your phone, sure. And you can just start with that. And then what you can do is send me the file if you want me to help you. And I can then upload it somewhere just to show you what it sounds like. I can maybe do my little secret sauce and add some EQs and some reverb and just to make it sound better. And I can just send that file back to you. Or I can upload it for you to your blog or to wherever. Or I can just teach you. Now, I'm not like a podcast answer guy. You know, there are a million YouTube videos out there on how to do that. So I can send you a bunch of links on how to start your own podcast on the technical part of it. I love the technical part, but I can show you the basics. I am not like a super crazy tech guy as far as teaching you the tech. I love it all, but I find that I am best at teaching you how to communicate and the confidence to get started. Kind of more motivation type stuff. But I can help you with some of the basics. So as I said, just use your phone. If you have a computer, which most of us do, you can use free software. If you have a PC, there is a software called Audible. Audible, right? Yeah, I think it's called Audible. I have a Mac, so I'm not a big PC guy. So I think it's Audible, A-U-D-I-B-L-E, just like it sounds. Download that. And it is confusing at first. You're like, whoa, what is this? So you may have to watch some YouTube videos on how to record using Audible, but it's free. And all you need is, as I said, something like this, a microphone, plug it into your computer. This goes right into your computer or your phone, and you're ready to go. You can then press record, and you have that file. Now, once you have that file, obviously there are more steps to take, but I can walk you through that, or I can send you some links. If you really want to do this right on the technical part of it, either find someone who knows all this stuff, your kids, your friend. I can help you if need be. Like I said, my sweet spot is more the communication part of it and the motivation, and to keep you on track and help you to discover kind of what you're going to say. But there are a bunch of links out there, but I wouldn't say it's easy to get your podcast on iTunes. There is a process to do that. There is a whole website and blah, blah, blah. It's easy to get approved by iTunes. It's not that complicated. There are a million podcasts in there. Now, how do you listen to a podcast? Well, this is the last step. The last step is you have to then know what to say, right? So the fifth and final step on why you should start a podcast is you need to know what to say. Or this is kind of the in some ways, the meat of the whole thing, right? What am I going to say? Okay, I have everything set up. Now what? Well, and this is now my area of expertise. I love teaching content and teaching you how to communicate and what to say. So now the way that you want to think about podcasting is, what is your message? What is your story? Don't think about all of these other things, as important as they are, which they are. But the thing that you should think about more than anything is, what are you going to say? What is your message? And the way that you want to think about your message is, what are you into? What are you into? What are you passionate about? Now, obviously for you, Ophi, if that's still you watching, if I know you're into God, you could say the Bible, right? I mean, you're into a lot of things, but for example, let's say you are someone who loves the Bible. So obviously it would make all the sense in the world that you do a podcast on things that you're reading. Now, you might be a follower of Jesus, a Christian, but that might not be your thing. Maybe you want to talk about, let's say, the outreach ministries or the things that you're into on a daily basis, helping kids through soccer or through sports to get connected to God and to grow in self-esteem and personal power, right? So if that is your content or your passion or what you do already, then I would do a podcast called Soccer with Ophi. I would avoid doing a podcast on cooking if that's not who you are. You know what I'm talking about? Why do a podcast on something that you have very little to say about? Just because it's popular or because you wish you would be into cooking? That's not the way to do it. You want to do a podcast on something that you think about all the time, that you're constantly thinking, talking, or reading about. So for me, obviously, it deals with leadership and the Bible and spiritual power and motivation and how to help you go from A to B and how to restart things. Music, all of these creative things, that is what I'm always thinking about, right? That's why I never run out of things to say, for better or for worse. So you want to think about it the same way. What is the thing that you're naturally always thinking about, regardless of whether it's interesting to somebody else or not, regardless of whether it's something that you aren't, you don't think it's that interesting. Yeah, as I said, if it's interesting to you, you will eventually find, as they call it, your tribe. Now, if, let's say, someone starts a podcast called, I wouldn't call it Soccer with Ophi because that's not specific enough, but I would maybe start with something like, Soccer for Kids. Or even more specific, self-esteem with soccer. Something along those lines. Now, I don't do soccer, so I'm not going to listen to your podcast, and that is okay. It doesn't matter that I listen to it or that your friend listens to it. What matters is that you talk about what you love. And guess what? As you tell 10 people and 100 people about your podcast called, let's just call it Soccer with Ophi, people that are into that are going to want to listen and tune in. And that's what you want. You want people that love what you're talking about. That's the beauty of a podcast. So who listens to me? People that like me to some degree, sure. But more than that, that have similar values and interests. As they say in marketing, you are trying to develop people that know you, like you, and trust you. The process of getting the word out, and I'm using the word marketing because even though not everyone likes to use those words, this is what this is. We're marketing. We're letting people know. We're messaging. To use churchy words, we're proclaiming, we're speaking, we're communicating, we're talking about God to people. Okay, it's the same thing. It's just in business they call it marketing, but it's just simply proclaiming the good news of the gospel, right? It's the same thing. And so in order to proclaim or to market your content, you have to start with who you are. Number two, talk about what you are already into. And then third, your tribe will come to you. It may take a year, it might take a month, it may take just a few days to have a tribe. But the best part of it is that whoever is watching you, whether it's just one person like me right now, or it's 10 people or 100 people, those 100 people or that one person is into what you're saying. They are loyal fans. And the word fan is dumb, obviously. They're loyal people. They are connected to you for a reason. So that's what you want, right? If it's 5 people, it doesn't really, the numbers are so irrelevant. The only reason why we think about numbers, well, I mean, obviously there are a lot of reasons, right? I mean, both online as well as in real life, if no one's coming to your church, then you're going to eventually close your church down, right? Can you say, I'm speaking for personal experience, right? So numbers matter because of a lot of reasons, obvious reasons, right? So, but in terms of social media, I think the greatest harm that numbers do is that I think they're misleading. They're just misleading. And so you have to I used to put a tape over how many numbers, the statistics of my podcast. I literally used to, because it was so depressing to me. And I knew I was better than what the numbers said. And the whole thing of one person matters, of course it matters. And I am more and more convinced that indeed one person matters. If it's not the way you're making money, let me just be clear. If this is, like it is for me, this is not the way I make a living, then numbers don't matter. At my church, which is my job, obviously it's my passion, it's more than a job. But of course, numbers do have a lot more pull than on a podcast. But anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is that you want to be able to do something that you love, and the content should be what you're into. So that's basically the 5 reasons why you should start a podcast or why you should restart one. And if you want my coaching on how to speak, on how to organize your thoughts, on how to talk about what is it that you have that is worth communicating, then I would love to coach you. You can just go to that link up here, lifeofghosts.com/coaching, and I can coach you for a free consultation just to help you get started. And then if you want to get into my actual paid program, then we can set something up weekly, monthly, every 3 months. I have different programs to help you get started with whatever you're struggling with, especially, as I said, in the area of communication, of content, of confidence, of telling your story in a way that people are drawn to it. Those are the things that I mostly major on, as you hopefully see in me. So with that said, thank you guys. Leave me any comments if you're watching this after the fact. on demand, as they call it. Please leave me a comment below on what is your number one obstacle on why you're not podcasting or why you're not live streaming. And let me just say it again. You don't have to live stream, meaning video. You can just do podcasts. Podcast is audio only. No cameras, no light, no hair, no makeup. It's just you and a microphone or you and a phone and straight to audio. Straight to audio. To your phone or to a computer, and you just press. Let me just actually, I don't know if you can see my screen there. I actually used to have a thing where you can see my screen. But anyway, there is this app. Let me just turn it on. There it is. It's called the Podcast app. Can't really see that, can you? And on there, I have my different podcasts, including, of course, mine that you see right there. That's my beautiful face. And I have maybe like 10 podcasts that I listen to. And I listen to them on my phone. No video. Just audio. Just audio. So that's why, as I said, all these steps, that's why I believe that podcasting, even though, yes, video is the thing, and this obviously is a video, that to me, and my point of this particular stream is that audio to me is one of the best ways to get your message across for all the 5 reasons that I mentioned. If you've missed any of them, please go back and check them out. Thank you guys. Please share this. Please comment below. As I said, it helps the video stream and the Facebook algorithm to actually show this content to more people. So leave me a comment below, even if it's after the fact. On the number one question is, what is your number one obstacle on why you don't have your own podcast or why you don't go on other people's podcasts? Okay. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next time. Adios.